Okay, we're gonna call the meeting to order. We don't have anyone that's here. Yeah, everybody's here that want to meet electronically. Okay. All righty. Roll call.
Trustee Harrod? Here. Trustee Montez?
Here.
Trustee Sierra?
Here.
Trustee Silver? Trustee Slover?
Here.
Vice President Hill?
Here.
President Johnson?
Here.
Thank you.
Moment of silence. I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic which stands one nation under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all. I need a motion to approve the minutes of November 12th.
Move that we approve the minute. Second.
Question? Roll call.
Trustee Harrod?
Aye.
Trustee Montez?
Aye.
Trustee Sierra?
Aye.
Trustee Silver?
Aye.
Trustee Slover?
Aye.
Vice President Hill?
Aye.
President Johnson?
Aye, motion carries.
Thank you.
Citizens request to address the board. If we have any, would they come to the podium, please? State your name.
Good evening. My name is Mary Clark, and I live at 2307 North Prospect. And my concern mostly tonight is about the basketball court you're putting in Glen Oak Park. I didn't hear about it, and I suppose there was a notice out, I told, a while back. I just can't imagine anybody wanting to stick that court right there in that little bitty piece of grass between Prospect and then that road. There's a lot of traffic on Prospect. You've got to be aware of that. You must know that. And they fly down through there, and ever since they put that that light thing there for pedestrians to cross, which was a great idea, it was hit for the first year and a half. It couldn't stay there for a week without somebody hitting it. And it would be down, they'd finally get it, they'd get it fixed, and it wouldn't be 2 days later, and it would be hit again. And so now you stick this basketball court right there on that little bitty piece of grass. What are you thinking? Where's the ball gonna go, and where's the kids gonna go after the ball? So what are you trying to do? I mean, you know, we're taking guns away from kids, and now you're throwing them out there in the street to get hit by cars. You don't make any sense to me about this. There's a place for that court to go in that park in other areas, and it's not too late to change it because they just got the dirt pulled away here the other day. So you can push all that dirt back over it and go over by the tennis court, or maybe go into where the ball field, the baseball field used to be in there. I know they play some soccer, or soccer over there, but put some flowers out there. We used to have flowers in the park. It's like this park has just gone to hell since I've been in Peoria. There's no flowers up there at all anymore. Do something that's going to improve the looks of the park, and want to get people to the zoo, which isn't big enough for the animals that they got in there, but it's better than what it was. But they got the park down below where they tore the old tennis courts out, and that's nothing but a bunch of weeds down there. Why didn't you just plant some grass right away and make it look decent? But no, that looks like crap for I don't know how many years now. If I would have heard about this sooner, I would have been here saying something then. But it's still not too late to change it. The Park District tried to give and the city tried to give the Park District to 150 schools. And we stopped that in 2007. They sold off a lot of the houses that were in there. And now it's mostly rental in there. And in the block that I'm in is right across then from the park. There's at least 4 of those houses that are there are homeowners. We're not renters. And I've been there for over 25 years, and my neighbors right next to me have also. It's nice to look out the window without seeing that piece of grass turn into a blacktop patch, I mean, it's really unsafe. And I can't imagine why you people would do that. Oh, well, we'll put up a nice big tall fence. Balls still go over fences. I just can't imagine this. Okay, thank you.
Well, thank you for coming and sharing your views. Thank you again. Okay, staff reports. Executive Director?
Good evening, everybody. I just wanted to let everybody know that tomorrow in Donovan Park at 10 a.m., Jacob Cuban and our parks crew will be planting our 99th and 100th trees of the year. So we did a media advisory, and hopefully we'll have local news pick that up, but certainly that is a milestone that we are very pleased to hit again. I know we did that, I think, last year as well. And so it's
Donovan or?
no, throughout the district. Throughout the district, but we think that is noteworthy, and we want to thank Matt and his team for all of their hard work in planting trees across our community. I'd be happy to answer any questions that you may have.
Any questions about Executive Director?
Where is that going to be again?
Donovan Park.
Okay.
If you come to the parking lot, you'll see the show
What
at
time?
10 a.m.
What time?
10 a.m.
Tomorrow?
Yep. Mm-hmm.
Okay. All right, no committee reports. New business. The Administrative and Operations Support Agreement between the Park District and the Zoological Society. We need a motion to approve.
Move to approve.
Second.
Are we gonna have any staff comments about this?
Question? Did we need? I thought we had discussed this already. When this
So
last,
this is the
The
only only changes in the 25 to 26 agreement are date changes. This is the revamped relationship between the Park District Zoo and Peoria Zoological Society that was established earlier this year. I believe the agreement was originally approved for 2025 in March, and we've been operating that way. And so we seek to extend that new structure into 2026.
Thank you, Emily. And
You're welcome.
President Johnson, just, so you're clear why I requested that is we read our minutes and our meeting packet, but public all the time. I just wanted some staff commentary.
oh, okay. Okay, we need a motion. We got a motion and a second. Question, roll call.
Trustee Harrod? Aye. Trustee Montez?
Aye.
Trustee Sierra?
Aye.
Trustee Silver?
Aye.
Trustee Slover?
Aye.
Vice President Hill? Aye. President Johnson?
Aye, motion carries.
Thank you.
9B, operating support agreement between the Heart of North Special Rec and the Peoria Park District.
So annually, the Park District currently serves as the HISRA's fiscal agent. And this agreement for administrative support outlines the relationship, and it is a continuation of past years. Again, the only changes are date changes. We ask the board to approve this agreement.
Thank
Okay.
you, Emily.
I'll move to approve.
Second. I do have a question. so I'm going to vote in favor of this, but I think, and this is something I brought up during the budget discussions, that since the fund balance for ISRA has gotten so low that, and now the staff are our employees, that if something bad happened where they had to, they have no reserves to dip into, right? And so we need to maybe, I don't know what is that I'm thinking about, but I really don't know, I haven't looked at their budget to say they,
Sure.
should they have a minimum or something like that?
Sure. So they maintain their fund balance to fund their capital projects. I have actually, since that budget meeting, I did have additional conversation with Executive Director Van Cleve. And she is building a plan to speak to the HISRA board in Q1 for us to, again, part of the struggle has been, and I'm not sure if we referenced this last week, but I know we have in past years, that by the time she completes her budget and identifies a potential need for a tax subsidy increase, we have all, as member districts, already established our own budgets. And so if that request is going to come, it needs to come sooner in our cycle. If there are other ways for us to think about approaching capital needs, that may happen outside of the subsidy realm, right? There may be other ways to think about that. And so it is a priority for her to begin that conversation with our board of directors and come back to each of our member districts with a proposal for how to either rebuild that fund balance or find other ways to address some capital needs as far as how to fund those by the member districts. So to be continued, but outside of this operating agreement, but there will be a proposal that comes back to each member
Are you
district.
saying that their fund balance can only be used for capital? I mean, if they
No.
lost some funding or a camp,
Sure.
they needed to dip to get $20,000, make that number up, to pay staff. They can do that?
No.
No?
Well, I mean, they can, yes, they
Okay,
can do
it's
that.
not des-
It is not designated only for capital, like our,
Yeah, okay.
our policy prefers that. But certainly the need to either rebuild that fund balance and/or create another mechanism or vehicle as a restricted fund or other way to address capital needs. Those are all things that, as a collective unit, we have to come up with that proposal that board of directors would have to make that determination.
Yeah.
And then bring that back to each member district and figure out a plan for sustainability that would be presented to all 4 member districts to adopt.
Yeah, okay.
My question would be different in the event, maybe, Carrie, maybe you know the answer here. If they hit a deficit, have a tough year that exceeds the amount that's in their fund balance, are the 4 participating agencies responsible for helping with that balance?
It would not be solely the park district, I wouldn't believe. So a couple things, just for time context, right? There would certainly be the potential that they may end a year where they have a deficit, but the discussion for a HISRA board would likely need to occur before that even happens.
Right.
So within the year, as Joyce points out, and they clearly were processing payroll, they are paying vendors. If their cash is not sufficient because there is a disruption in, and certainly the member district payments to them are pretty regularly scheduled. They do have a fair amount of grant activity. If there was a disruption in grant funding for them, then they don't have a lot of cushion within the year. And I think that is Joyce's question as to if within the year they don't have sufficient cash flow, whether that is because they've lost a grant or there's just a timing and funding difference, and they do not have sufficient dollars in the HISRA fund to cover their everyday expenses, what happens? And that, I think, is the thing that I would say the HISRA board would need to determine what happens. I don't believe my understanding, and please chime in, Emily, if from your context history, we're all member districts. All member districts would need to determine what happens in that cash shortage situation.
I'm not necessarily talking just about the cash flow, but at the end of the year, though, this would probably happen over the course of a year that they're having a bad revenue year. At the end of the year, their expenses exceed even what they might have in their fund. That puts the whole fund in a deficit.
Right, so the fund would likely go in, if it's going to end the year, it might just happen that it's December that is the month in which they end in a deficit, but there is potential that before the end of a fiscal year, they could be in a deficit position.
Yeah.
And as they're projecting their budget, the 2026 revised fund balance, or 2026 fund balance projection that you saw in the book is just about $50,000. The fund's operating expenses are about 1.5 million. So that's less than a month of cash flow at hand. So if there is a disruption to the revenue stream, that would certainly be something that I would imagine the HISRA board is addressing.
Gary, is what you just described about member districts all chipping in to, help HISRA in the event that that's necessary documented anywhere, or is that assumed?
There is an underlying member, there is the SRA membership agreement that kind of speaks to the shared responsibilities for member districts and what their obligations are.
As a general refresher, can the board get that?
Sure, we can provide that original document, but what you're talking about primarily lives there as opposed to this, our responsibilities as the fiscal agent in this case, as the administrator of their, bill pay and HR and those sorts of things. But we can absolutely share that original agreement. And I would note too, that as part of those monthly board meetings, as Trustee Montez knows, we do look at and review monthly financials that are provided by business staff to the HISRA board. So just as you all, as part of a finance committee, review those and look at trends and ask about, higher or lower, that would also be the case in that board meeting, that the expectation would be if there are warning signs that we would dip into that negative position, we would be addressing that as part of those monthly meetings. But we'll share the original agreement, for sure.
Just for context. I think
Yep.
it'd be helpful.
Okay, we had a motion and we had a second. Any questions? Roll call.
Trustee Harris. Aye. Trustee Montez.
Aye.
Trustee Sierra.
Aye.
Trustee Silver.
Aye.
Trustee Slover.
Aye.
Vice President Hill. Aye. President Johnson.
Aye, motion carries.
Thank you.
We don't have any calendar of consent items. Is there any pending business? None? Any communications anybody want to comment on? Other business? Action steps to review?
Provision of the original HISRA agreement to all board members for review.
Is there a motion to adjourn? All in favor?
Aye.
Aye. Thank you.